I'm sometimes asked, how do Christians relate to Kundalini, as it is a Hindu term and it comes from the Eastern teachings and has no mention in most Christian teachings. We do know there is such a thing as Kundalini, though. We mystics certainly do, because there is a life force that moves up the spine and raises energies from lower chakras, which are centers of the Kundalini energy in our body, raises them up to higher ones. And whether you're doing Eastern meditation practices or you're doing mystical Christian ones, the Kundalini force is affected. We do actually change through our meditation and spiritual practices where that life force moves in us and what effect it has. This life force that begins at the bottom of the spine, in the first chakra, is an energy that will activate whatever level it is in the spine. And the lower three chakras of the Kundalini, that the Kundalini move into, have to do with things of the earth mostly, and things of our emotions and our being here on earth, and our partnering and our needs. Most people stay at that level their entire lives. They hardly at all move up to even the fourth chakra where the heart is. In fact, there are 7, so there's 4 chakras above those 3 that most people live in. And they are ones that awaken us to a higher consciousness and a whole different way of living. They bring us out of mere surviving and obsession with our stuff and our families and our relationships and our emotions. They raise us up into where we can start to know about the cosmic spheres. We can start to tune into the actual mind and heart of God. We can start having those aspects of our being awakened and energized and brought forth into expression through us. Some of you may be most familiar with the 6th chakra, which is spoken of as being the third eye, because it has to do with having spiritual sight and insight. You may be less familiar with the 5th chakra, that has to do with speaking truth and speaking power and speaking into creation what you want to create. And the 7th one is an enigma to most people. It's the crown chakra, and it's actually where we as souls join with the spiritual world. We're souls in physical bodies, and in the 7th chakra we open into a union with the spiritual world, and there is the interface between it and us. The life force is a wonderful thing, and yet if we keep constantly spending it, wasting it, utilizing it only in our lower nature, we'll never come to know the higher nature in us. You have to be willing to not have that energy always exit at exit 2, which is the sexual energies, or always exit at exit 3, which is the appetites and the emotions. If you constantly expend all your life force in those, in your addictions and emotions and sexual energies and fearfulness, you'll never get to experience what we humans are meant to be in our bodies as souls, as living souls. We're meant to be bridges between the material world and the spiritual world. We're the only ones who are the way we are, living beings, spiritual beings inside physical form. We're supposed to bring heaven into earth and raise earth up into heaven. It is an enormously high calling we were made for, and that we are here for. And yet the vast majority of humankind never moves beyond the lower form of life. I invite you to move beyond that, to actually take on a higher living, to learn how to be a brilliant spirit within a healthy body, to really serve as a mediator between heaven and earth. It is all doable if you find a spiritual teacher and a spiritual school that can teach you that. We do precisely that in our centers of light. And I invite you to check that out if that's of any interest to you.